I'd practiced asking her 17 times in my car, but when she looked up at me with those eyes, the ones that had seen more life than mine ever would, every word I'd rehearsed just disappeared. Look, I'm not the kind of guy who freezes up. I'd pitched million-dollar projects to boardrooms full of skeptics. I'd defended my designs in front of panels who wanted to tear them apart. But standing in Vivienne's office doorway that Thursday afternoon, watching her review blueprints with those reading glasses perched on her nose, silver threading through her dark hair like something out of a classic film, I felt like a kid again. "There's a wedding," I said, way too loud. She glanced up, and God, that smile, the same patient one she used when the junior architects pitched ideas that would never work. "That's nice, Julian. Have fun. I want you to come, with me." The pen in her hand stopped moving. Just stopped. Around us, the architecture firm kept buzzing, people at drafting tables, the coffee machine gurgling, someone laughing by the printer. But in her glass-walled office, everything went silent. She took off her glasses slowly, like she was buying time to process what I'd just said. As my date." My pulse was doing this thing where it felt like it was in my throat. My +1. Vivienne stood up and walked to the window. 42 years old, senior partner, the woman who designed half the buildings I could see from where I stood. 15 years older than me. 15 years that suddenly felt like a canyon between us. She stared out at the city for what felt like forever. When she finally turned back to face me, her voice came out quiet, almost fragile, nothing like the confident architect who commanded every room she entered. "Your age doesn't bother you." And just like that, everything I thought I knew about her cracked open. The question hung in the air like smoke I couldn't wave away. "Bother me?" I repeated, stepping closer. "Vivienne, you're the most brilliant person I know." She shook her head, and I saw something I'd never seen before: fear. Real, raw fear in the eyes of a woman who never flinched at anything. "That's not what I asked." Her fingers twisted the pen she was still holding. "I asked if my age bothers you. Because it'll bother everyone else at that wedding, Julian. Your friends will wonder what's wrong with you. Their dates will whisper about me in the bathroom. Your family. I don't care what they think." "You should." She turned back to the window, her reflection ghostly in the glass. "I've done this before. The younger man who thinks age is just a number until it isn't, until his friends make one too many comments, until he realizes I'm closer to menopause than to his college reunion." The bitterness in her voice hit me like a slap. This wasn't just about a wedding invitation. This was about every time someone had made her feel like being older meant being less, like she had an expiration date. I moved beside her at the window. Our reflections stood side by side. Her, elegant, self-possessed, guarded. Me, desperate to break through. "What if I told you," I said quietly, "that I'm not asking you in spite of who you are. I'm asking you because of who you are?" She closed her eyes. "Julian, one wedding. Give me one night to prove this is real." When she opened her eyes again, they were glistening. "Okay," she whispered. "One night." The next 3 days, Vivienne avoided me like a deadline she could postpone. I'd pass her office, empty. I'd send her project updates that normally got instant responses. Nothing. By Wednesday, I caught her in the hallway near the elevators, and she actually pretended to take a phone call. "Vivienne, come on." She lowered the phone that hadn't even rung. "Julian, I've been thinking." "Don't." I knew that tone. That was her, "I'm about to be rational and ruin everything" tone. "This wedding, it's complicated. Your roommate from college, right? So everyone there will be your age, mid-20s. They'll have their young girlfriends, their inside jokes about things that happened when I was already working my first job. So what? So it's not fair to you." She pressed the elevator button 3 times like that would make it arrive faster. "People will talk. They'll assume things about me. Gold digger, desperate, cougar." She flinched at that last word. "And you, that you have mommy issues or you're going through some phase. Let them assume." The elevator dinged. She stepped in,
and I followed before the doors closed. It's not that simple. It is to me. That's because you haven't lived it yet. Her voice cracked slightly. I have, and I can't. She took a breath. I can't watch you realize they're right. The elevator descended in silence, but she hadn't said no, not really. She had said she was afraid. And fear, I was learning, looked a lot like protection. Saturday arrived like a storm I'd been watching on the horizon. I picked her up at 7, and when she opened her door, I forgot how to breathe. She wore this emerald dress, elegant, understated, perfect. Her hair was down, falling past her shoulders, and for a moment she looked uncertain, like she was waiting for me to change my mind. "You look incredible," I managed. "You clean up well yourself." A small smile, the first real one all week. The wedding venue was this restored barn an hour outside the city. String lights, mason jars, all that rustic charm people pay a fortune for. We were barely through the door when it started. The stairs. Jake, the groom, did a double take when he saw us. "Jules, man, you made it! And this is—" "Vivienne," I said, my hand finding the small of my back. "My date." "Oh, cool. Welcome." His eyes did that thing, that quick math calculation people do when they're trying to figure out an age gap. I felt Vivienne stiffen beside me. We found our seats at a table with people I barely knew, college acquaintances, plus ones, strangers united by obligation. The ceremony started, and I watched Vivienne watch the bride walk down the aisle. Something in her expression cracked open. Longing, maybe, or grief for something she thought she'd never have. Have you ever felt out of place somewhere, even when someone wanted you there? Tell us about it. Halfway through the vows, someone behind us whispered, "Isn't that Julian? Who's the older woman?" Vivienne heard it. I know she did because her hand trembled slightly in her lap. I reached over and laced my fingers through hers. She didn't pull away. The reception was in full swing. Clinking glasses, bad dancing, that electric buzz of people getting progressively drunk on open-bar wine. Vivienne excused herself to the restroom, and I headed to grab us drinks. That's when I heard my cousin Derek's voice behind me. "So, Julian's got himself a MILF situation going on. Respect, man. How old is she? 40? 45? Laughter erupted. My jaw clenched. "Dude, she's hot for an older chick, but come on. What happens when she's 60 and he's still in his prime? That's going to be rough." I turned around, ready to shut it down, but someone grabbed my arm. Vivienne's colleague from another firm, someone I'd met once at a gallery opening. "Don't," she said quietly. "Trust me, it'll only make it worse for her." She led me to a quiet corner near the gift table. "Look, I don't know what's happening between you, but I know Vivienne. 5 years ago, she dated a guy, late 20s, seemed crazy about her, lasted 8 months. Then his friends started getting engaged to women their own age, and suddenly he couldn't handle it anymore. Told her he wanted kids someday, and she was running out of time. Destroyed her." My stomach dropped. She doesn't talk about it, but after that, she swore off younger men completely, said it wasn't worth the inevitable ending. She looked at me hard. "So if you're not serious, if this is just some adventure for you, walk away now, because she won't survive it twice."
Before we go any further, take a second to join this family by hitting the subscribe button. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I read every one of them. I've got another powerful story coming tomorrow, and you won't want to miss it. Now, let's continue. When Vivienne came back, I saw her differently. Not just elegant and guarded, but scarred. Every hesitation, every question about my intentions, it wasn't about me at all. It was about the last guy who made her believe, then left her behind. The DJ announced the first slow dance, and couples flooded the floor like they'd been waiting all night for permission to be romantic. I extended my hand to Vivienne. "Dance with me." She hesitated, glancing around at all the eyes that would inevitably find us. "Julian, please." Something in my voice must have gotten through, because she took my hand. On the dance floor, under those string lights that made everything feel like a dream, I pulled her close. Her perfume, something subtle, expensive, her, filled my senses. For a moment we just swayed, and the world narrowed to just us. "I know about him," I said quietly. She stiffened. "Who?" "The guy before me, the one who left." Her eyes met mine, wide and vulnerable. "Julian, I don't want to talk about. I'm not him." I tightened my hold on her waist. "I need you to hear that. I'm not going to wake up one day and realize you're too old or that I'm missing out on something. You're not a phase I'm going through." A tear slipped down her cheek before she could stop it. "You can't know that. You're 27. You haven't even thought about marriage, kids, mortgage. I've thought about you." My thumb brushed that tear away. "Every day for the last 6 months, Vivienne. The way you laugh at terrible architectural puns, how you take your coffee with too much cream and no sugar, the fact that you hum when you're concentrating. I don't care about the years between us. I care about you." She let out a shaky breath, and for the first time all night, she relaxed into me. Her head rested against my chest. "I'm terrified," she whispered. "Me too," I admitted, "but I'd rather be terrified with you than safe without you." We danced through 2 more songs, and she didn't let go. For a moment, it felt like we'd won. We were at our table, sharing a piece of wedding cake, her feeding me a bite, laughing when frosting stuck to my nose, when my mother appeared. "Julian, can I talk to you privately?" The warmth drained from the moment instantly. "Mom, we're kind of in the middle of—" "Now, please." Vivienne's smile vanished. "It's fine. Go." I followed my mother to the venue's side patio, where the music was muffled and the night air felt suddenly cold. "What are you doing?" Mom's voice was sharp, controlled, her disappointed tone that cut deeper than yelling ever could. "I'm at a wedding with my date. What does it look like?" "It looks like you're making a spectacle of yourself with a woman old enough to be your—" "Don't." My voice came out harder than I intended. "Don't finish that sentence." She softened slightly, but her eyes remained worried. "Honey, I'm concerned. This isn't like you. Is this some rebellion thing? Because your father and I have always supported your choices, but this woman, her name is Vivienne, is in a completely different stage of life. What happens in 5 years when you want children and she can't give them to you? What happens when your friends are still young and vibrant and she's dealing with aging? Have you thought about any of this? Have you thought about asking me if I'm happy?" Mom sighed. "Happiness isn't always enough, Julian. Sometimes love requires wisdom." Behind us, the patio door opened. Vivienne stood there, her clutch in hand, and I knew immediately she'd heard everything. "Vivienne, wait. Your mother's right." Her voice was eerily calm, but her eyes were devastated. "This was a mistake. I shouldn't have come." "Don't do this." "I called a car. It'll be here in 5 minutes." She looked at my mother, then back at me. "Enjoy the rest of the wedding, Julian. And thank you for trying." She walked back inside, moving through the crowd like a ghost. I stood there frozen between my mother's expectations and the woman disappearing into the night. When has someone else's opinion made you question something you knew was right? Share below. "Julian, it's for the best," my mother started, but I was already running. I found her in the parking lot, standing under a lamppost like she was waiting for an escape that couldn't come fast enough. "Vivienne, please." "Go back inside, Julian." She didn't turn around. "Your mother's waiting. The reception isn't over." "I don't care about the reception." "You should." Now she faced me, and God, the pain in her eyes. "She's right, about all of it. I've been selfish, letting myself believe this could work, but it can't. It never could." "That's not true. You want kids someday, a family, because I'm 42, Julian. My window is closing, if it hasn't already closed, and I won't be the reason you wake up at 40 full of regret, realizing you sacrificed your future for someone who couldn't give you one. You don't get to decide what my future looks like.
Someone has to be realistic here. No. I stepped closer, my heart hammering so hard I could barely breathe. Someone has to be brave here. And I know you're scared. I get it. That guy before me broke something in you, and my mother's words just now probably felt like confirmation of every fear you've carried. But I'm not him, and I'm not giving up. Headlights swept across the parking lot, her car arriving. She looked at it, then at me. Julian, this is too hard. I love you. The words came out raw, unplanned, desperately honest. Her breath caught. What? I love you, Vivienne, not despite your age, not because of some phase or rebellion. I love you because when I'm with you, I'm the best version of myself. You challenge me. You inspire me. You make me want to build a life worth living. I took her hands. And if you get in that car right now, I'll respect it. But you need to know, I'm choosing you. I will always choose you. Tears streamed down her face. The car idled nearby, waiting. I'm so afraid, she whispered. Then be afraid with me. I pulled her close, but don't leave. She didn't get in the car. Instead, she kissed me right there in the parking lot, under that lamppost, with tears still wet on her cheeks. It was the kind of kiss that felt like a promise, like a beginning, like everything I'd been waiting for. When we pulled apart, she was smiling through her tears. I love you too. God help me, I do. Then come back inside with me. Her smile faltered. Julian, your mother, will have to accept this. Accept us. I laced my fingers through hers. But I need you to stand with me, not behind me, with me. She took a shaky breath, then nodded. We walked back into that reception together, hand in hand. The music was still playing, people were still dancing, and yes, heads turned when we entered. I felt the stares, heard the whispers start up again. But this time, something was different. My mother was standing near our table, watching me. I led Vivienne straight to her. Mom, this is Vivienne, the woman I love, and I need you to respect that. The silence between us stretched like a wire pulled taut. Then my mother looked at Vivienne, really looked at her, and maybe she saw what I saw. The strength, the grace, the way Vivienne wasn't shrinking anymore, but standing tall. It's nice to officially meet you, Vivienne, Mom said quietly. It wasn't warm, not yet, but it was a start. Vivienne extended her hand. You raised an incredible son, Mrs. Chen. They shook hands, and I exhaled a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. The DJ announced the last dance of the night. I turned to Vivienne. One more dance? One more, she agreed, and then 1,000 more after that. We returned to the dance floor, and this time when people stared, I didn't care. Neither did she. We swayed under those string lights, two people who'd chosen each other despite every reason not to. My age doesn't bother you, she whispered against my ear, echoing that first question that had started everything. I pulled back just enough to look into her eyes. Your age is part of your story, and I want every chapter of it. She smiled, a real, unguarded, beautiful smile. And we danced. What's the bravest choice you've ever made for love? Drop your story in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If stories like this stay with you long after they end, then this channel was made for you. Subscribe and stay with us. And before you go, do you believe love always finds its way back?